Hello, Nick Jones here for another instalment of the stretch series. So please check the description to see which length of stretch routine this is. Apart from that, pause and read the disclaimer. Again, I wouldn't recommend this for everyone. I don't know who's watching, but if you get tight hips, this series could be good for you. Apart from that, let's get to it. All you're going to need is a mat and yourself. Next stretch up is going to be our pigeon. You're going to go hands and knees. Right knee nice and far forward, left knee nice and far back. Swing that right foot round towards your left hand. Then just walk your left knee back until you get deeper and deeper into that stretch. Then you can either stay up on your hands like that, or you can drop down to your forearms like I'm doing right now. Or you can then go out nice and long to this position if you want to take it even further, but that's not very comfortable for me. Like I said, I almost recommend holding kind of like an 8 out of 10 in terms of, 7 to 8 out of 10 in terms of tension. You don't want to feel like you're literally ripping the muscle apart. You want to just have a bit of good pressure, uncomfortable but bearable, and just slowly wait for that muscle to ease off. That's going to be it. We're going to swap the sides. So left knee nice and far forward now, right knee nice and far back. Swing your left foot round towards the right hand as good as you can, and then walk your right knee back deeper and deeper into this stretch. Again, you can complete the stretch when you can get your left hip completely on the floor. Apart from that, just sink into it nice and deeply, just relax into it, just take some time to yourself and just really stretch everything off. Okay, so coming up shortly, I'm going to get you to come out of this position, sit onto your bum, and we're going to go for a hamstring and calf stretch. There's going to be a pretty slick transition coming up here. Let's go. So start slowly coming out of it, onto your bum, get ready for the hamstring stretch.
Rest.
Okay, let's finish there. Take one leg out nice and straight at kind of a 45-degree angle away. And then what you're going to do is reach down, touch the toe. You want to try and keep your knee on the floor though. So if your knee's on the floor and it means you can't get to the toe, that's absolutely fine. Don't worry at all. Just hold on to a bit of your shin and just pull yourself as far down as you can. And again, if you're feeling any pain in your neck or shoulder, remember you don't really have to pull down. Just have your hand resting on your leg and just lean the body down towards the toe. Right, over to the other side. So again, leg straight out at a 45-degree angle. Make sure that knee is on the floor as you reach down towards those toes. Again, you don't want to be at, you want to be at kind of a 7 to 8 out of 10 in terms of discomfort. You want it to be uncomfortable but not painful. And then just hold it for, I found that a lot more effective for me, in my opinion, is being kind of moderate discomfort but holding it for longer.
Rest.
Next up, inside of the leg. Okay, lie back, part the soles of your feet together and then just let the knees fall apart. I put the back of the wrist on the outside of my bum, my arms nice and straight to support the back all the way along. This is kind of just a little bit more comfortable for me. Soles of your feet are together, and then just let your knees fall out nice and wide, and just slowly over the time try and get those legs wider and wider. The more mobile your hips are, the less pain you're likely to have. Again, don't force any of these stretches, Just get to that moderate discomfort, but hold it for longer. But every breath out, just try and slowly get those knees lower and lower to the ground as the time goes on.
Halfway there. Rest.
Okay, into the next stretch. As we're now on our back, what we're going to do, we're going to roll onto our side as if we're in bed. Knees up nice and high. I'm rolling over to my left side. Fetal position on your side. And what you're going to do is use your left hand to hold your knees down to get a bit of tension. And then relax your right shoulder back. When you complete this stretch, you'll have both knees together on the floor with that right shoulder touching the ground as well. This gives you a nice stretch across the ankle. It'll go a little bit into your lower back. Feel free to pick that knee up as high as you want to get deeper into that stretch. That bit of pressure down on that knee just helps you feel that stretch a little bit more. This is a lovely stretch to hit, this one, and it's really good if you suffer with kind of lower back pain first thing in the morning, or if your hip pain is kind of localized around the outside of the hip. You'll feel a really nice stretch to the outside of the hip here and into sort of the top of the glute a little as well. Wherever you're feeling the stretch is wherever you're tightest. So just sit back, relax into it, and keep it going. Okay, so really slowly come on out of that stretch. Take it nice and easy, and then over to the other side. You really don't want to rush coming out of that one.
Let's go.
Now we're going to go over to the other side. Knees over to your right side. Fetal position, knees up nice and high. Use your right hand to hold those knees down and then relax your left shoulder back. And again, just sink back into it again. Same as the last stretch, but just on the other side. Just sink into it. It hits a really nice bit of the back and the hip, this one. And yeah, there's a really good stretch first thing in the morning. You can complete this stretch when both knees are touching and you're pressing them down towards the floor. And then when your opposite shoulder is then touching the ground. Apart from that, just relax into it and just feel the stretch doing its work. Okay, slowly come on out of that stretch. Now we're going to go onto the front of the hip.
Let's go.
Okay, this next stretch, what we're going to do is a really big, deep stretch in the front of the quad and sort of crosses over to the hip. I'm simulating it, but imagine you're doing this up against the wall. Really pad underneath your knee for this stretch. You're going to hook your foot up like that. I'm doing it against the bench just so you can see how I'm doing this quad stretch. You want your toes up on the wall, and what you're going to do is stand up nice and tall, get that heel as near to your bum as you can. Then your other leg out nice and far in front of you, and then just lean forward and push that hip forward again. Again, almost going into that kind of posterior pelvic tilt again. And you should feel this massively down the front of your leg. Right up to the top by the hip flexors, and then also down into the quads as well. This is my favorite quad stretch to hit, and my mobility in my quads has got so much better since I've been doing this one. It's so much better than the bog standard heel to bum quad stretch. However, if you can't do this one, your alternative is lying on your side and hit your normal quad stretch. So now we're going to do the same for the other side, under that tripled up mat underneath your knee. Make sure you really pad underneath the knee.
Let's go.
Again, if you've got a thin yoga mat, make sure you've got a cushion underneath that knee. You don't want to be giving yourself bursitis or anything. Apart from that, just get that heel nice and close to the bum. Sit up nice and tall and try and get as big a stretch in that quad as you can. As that time goes on, try and get a bigger and deeper stretch as we go. Just remember your alternative is lying on the floor on your side, heel to bum, normal quad stretch. Apart from that, we'll just stretch it out to the finish. So that was the 10-minute stretch routine. Hope you enjoyed it, a bit of a shorter one. So hopefully if you don't have much time in the evenings, there's a couple of options here for some shorter routines. Apart from that, I really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, like as many videos as you can, and hopefully see you in another one.